Greetings my dear summer vacationers of light and darkness. As I have finished the MSQ and started leveling my first alt jobs, I wanted to share with you what I consider the best methods to get up to 100 as quickly and entertained as possible. So while I could tell you to grind down dungeons and call it a day, I feel like the spots to fill queue times and some EXP optimization is definitely worth mentioning. So, when talking about your first job with which you start into Dawntrail, you should primarily go for the MSQ. I myself reached level 100 on a level 98 MSQ quest and had plenty of content waiting for me, which means basically do the MSQ and the connected dungeons and that should be it. I actually believe that Square Enix might have calculated the exact numbers you get through this so that you reach 100 on point. Regardless, one thing you definitely should do are blue ether current unlock quests and hunt down ether currents along the map, because having unlocked flying in all Dawntrail areas will become very handy for all additional jobs you're going to level, especially as the new regions are very hard to navigate when not having flying unlocked, because of the massive terrain differences and large scale of maps. Maybe the last two areas aren't as important, but make sure to unlock flying in Urkopacha, Gosamauka, Yaktel and Charloani. Alright, so coming to the first level from 90 to 91 on your old job. Here you have many options now and should make use of them, as you haven't got access to dungeons, which is the fastest way to level, except you have a crazily optimized Fate or Bozja farm group. So our goal is to reach 91 as fast as possible. Of course, the jump start would be a Wondrous Tales book that grants half a level for completion trade-in. Or maybe even two of them, but if you can keep those back and stick with your other stuff, I highly recommend to do so, because the higher level you are, the more this will provide as it scales with your level. Check out my Wondrous Tales video if you want to know more about the details. Also on a weekly basis, but only scaling with every 10 levels, we have the challenge log, with which I recommend starting, because you can easily complete 5 fates for 1.6 million bonus EXP, and the rest of it can be tied to dungeons later. Another fast push that doesn't scale with higher levels past 90 are Beast Tribe quests of Endwalker. These provide around 3.3 million EXP in 5 minutes, which is blazingly fast but limited to 3 per day, or 6 if you accepted quests from the day before and complete the new and fresh ones afterwards. So in the best case 6.6 million in 10 minutes, which is absolute bonkers. Just don't go for Shadowbringers Beast Tribes, because these are falling short compared to Fates, which I recommend doing instead. So that mentioned. Fates. Just about 16 bonus Fates will give you the full first level, which already shows how awesome Fates have become. So when you still have the challenge log entry for 5 random Fates open, do that first. Then maybe check out which of the zones might have a bonus Fate active, and while you're on the move, make sure to accept all those hunting board quests in Tulio, which are unlocked upon higher levels and your MSQ progress. While I don't recommend going for these primarily, it is quite nice to have them available and just seeing a wanted target right where you finished a fate. That's just 440k for 2 to 3 kills, sometimes even just one enemy. A clever trick here is to open up the recommendations tab under the duty section of your interface, and there select the category The Hunt, which will show you all the targets of your hunting bill that are available in the zone you're navigating. Apart from that, some people like to go into Bozja or Zadnor, where Bozja is the better choice in my opinion. This only makes sense if you already unlocked that content or really want your Shadowbringers relic weapon and armor badly. Otherwise, maybe for the first levels, because EXP in there don't scale and the higher you get, the smaller the rewarded EXP become. If you have flying unlocked though and use for some gil on top, I would go for Fates. Only true relic hunters or those that just enjoy the atmosphere of big scale open map events or being inside of warzone territories in general, this is where Bozja and Zadnor shine. So just do what you prefer and like the most. Last but not least, level 90 is also a good time to make use of your duty roulette dailies. While leveling is the most profitable, you could try out the others too, especially as they have improved the completion time on main scenario roulette and Endwalker. Alright, all said and done, if you have unlocked your first dungeon already, I highly recommend checking your bonus EXP methods. I personally like to use the Squadron Battle Manual, which you will receive through sending your squad on squadron missions successfully. Besides that, someone in your free company having permissions to do so uses the buff Heat of Battle 2, being a company skill that will also increase experience points received by 10%. Then get yourself some solid buff food, not only for the 3% XP bonus you're getting, but for the stat buff too. These might provide a nice little boost to your power level, and you mostly get them for very cheap. Last but not least, make use of your rested bonus as best as you can, which means if you have other things to do in the game, just take some time off of leveling and let the bonus take up half of your work. Sometimes the most efficient way to max out things is to be patient and just wait. Just remember to always log out in cities, which is not the case if your logout or exit game buttons have a countdown. Okay, dungeons now. If you're a DPS job, keep going for fates and hunt targets while waiting for the queue to pop. Fates have been improved massively in Endwalker, so that their completion reward actually means a lot. And with bonus fates and fallen maidens that can spawn and which will increase the XP and gemstones of your next fate, these aren't too bad to grind down, so don't worry too much about waiting times. Overall, try to go for the highest dungeon available, as it will grant more EXP. But if you suffer badly from queue times and can't stand doing fates anymore, try to queue up for multiple choices too. Alright, that's basically the procedure. If you feel like one dungeon is particularly bad or you just don't like it, then make use of the tools you might have held back, like the Wondrous Tales or Duty Roulettes. But all in all, dungeons are the fastest way to go now. Just try avoiding trust dungeons, as it hurts every player's soul when you realize that our beloved Science can't play the game properly. And don't use their AoE rotation on more than 3 targets.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Nothing. Me? Just hanging around.
Fighting in dungeons is mostly not a duel, so when there are 3 targets or more around, please use your AoE abilities. If anything changes, especially on the values of set methods, I will keep you informed with a follow-up video. Above that, if you know a very smart way to level that can be added to the mix, share it with us in the comments section. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep loving Final Fantasy.
But you can't do this to me.
You know how much I sacrificed?